Hey girls, I just wanted to take a couple of minutes today and tackle a topic that is going to come up somewhere along the way in this challenge. And I wanted to give you a tip or trick or several to put in your arsenal before you are faced with the situation that we're going to talk about today, and that is eating out. Somewhere along the line in the next 4 weeks, you're very likely to have a meal out with friends or with your husband or with your boyfriend or whomever else you might want to go out with. I want to make sure that when you go, you have a strategy to deal with the choices that you're going to be given when you get there. The first tip I want to give you is to have a plan before you go out to eat. You know that the menu items are not all going to fit within your nutritious, healthy eating plan. And you've been so specific with your nutrition to this point, it would suck to let that throw you off. It is possible that when you go out, you might just want to make that day your cheat meal. And we'll talk about that later if we haven't already. But if you are trying to keep that meal within the range that you've been doing over the past several days or several weeks or wherever you are in this process, it's really important to have a plan beforehand. You can pull up the menu of almost any restaurant that you go to, unless it's someplace new or someplace really small, and you can find out what's available. If you pull that menu up, you can choose from that menu based upon what you already know are clean eating goals. Whole foods, very few preservatives, all ingredients that you can pronounce. If you can pull that up, you can go in prepared, you can know exactly what you're going to ask for. If you can't do that, you might check their Facebook page. They may not necessarily have a website, or you may talk to a friend about some of the great choices that they had at that restaurant. But in addition to that, don't go starving. Make sure that you've had something close to that time frame. Don't go and think that you're going to just fill up for the night on what you're eating there. Make sure that you make good choices and make sure that you go prepared. The next thing I want you to make sure that you do is think about ordering first. If you're there with a group of friends and you're waiting while everybody else orders and you're hearing the choices that they're making about their meals, it may tempt you to say, that thing that I planned to buy doesn't sound so great anymore. If you're the first to order, you've already made your decision. You know exactly what you're going to order. You are not pressured by any of the choices of the people around you. You're not being guilted into choosing something different by people who might not be making great nutritional choices. And you're going to feel very confident in the decision that you made, and it will have already been made before anybody else even says anything. Order first. Have it set in your mind and just do it. Also, when you are ordering off of the menu, you do not have to be afraid to ask for it made your way. Most restaurants are more than happy to make something in a different way or to leave off part of the description or even to change things around for you if you ask them. And you don't have to be a jerk about it, and you don't have to feel like you're being a jerk about it. You're not. Everybody asks for things that they want. When my husband goes, he asks for his baked potato made in a certain way because he can't stand sour cream. He doesn't like chives. And the sour cream part's just fine. It's not really great for you anyway. But if you want to ask for something to be made with cooking spray instead of sauteed in butter, they can make those kinds of accommodations. Don't be afraid to ask. You're paying for them to make your meal. Ask for it the way that you want it to be made. Also, don't be tempted by the descriptions on the menu. Things like, this is juicy or delicious or that kind of thing, those are meant to tempt you. They make you say, ooh, but wouldn't it be awesome if I had it that way, soaked in that butter? It probably would taste really awesome, but again, it's not helping you meet your goals. Think about words like baked and broiled. Avoid words like deep fried. Think about what it's actually doing to your food as they're cooking it that way or the way that they're describing it, instead of being tempted to order it because of those words. When you go to most restaurants, they are going to bring an sort of appetizer hors d'oeuvre kind of thing most of the time. You walk into Olive Garden and they're going to, and after you place your order, they're going to bring a basket of bread and a salad to your table. Salad is not so terrible, but the basket of bread may not be your best choice. You go into the Outback and they're going to bring you those beautiful tiny little brown bread rolls that you can cut up and slather with butter. Remember that kind of snacking before the meal comes is when you're starving. You're filling up on something that is not the most nutrient-dense portion of a meal. You're also more likely to be chit-chatting with your friends and not even thinking about how you're eating, so you eat it mindlessly. Make sure that you save your space for your entree, for what you actually ordered and paid for. If you need to, move that bread basket away from you. Push those chips to the other end of the table so that the kids can eat them or whatever. But don't you eat them and sabotage what you're going to be getting with that great meal you just ordered by mindlessly snacking and not thinking about the empty calories that you're pumping into your body. When we go out to eat and we're trying to be nutrition conscious, a lot of times we're tempted by the salads because we think that, boy, you couldn't go wrong with a salad. Well, actually you can. If you're not super salad savvy, you could get into really big trouble with heavy dressings or big add-ons like giant croutons or huge amounts of bacon on your salad or something like that. Just be mindful of the ingredients that you're putting on there and always add the protein. Have the grilled chicken breast or a baked chicken breast or a piece of fish or something added onto there. Because remember that if you eat a salad that doesn't have any protein on it, an hour later you're going to be starving again. And if it's already evening when you're eating out, it's not really the best time for you to have another full meal when you get home. Get it on your salad, make sure that you make that salad something that's filling and nutrient dense, and make sure that you choose a lighter dressing, a balsamic or something like that to go along with it. When you're out, it's also going to be very tempting to have a glass of alcohol, and I completely stand behind you if you choose to have alcohol at some point. However, make sure it's part of your plan. If you decide that you're going to have a glass of wine with your meal, have a glass of wine. Tell somebody, I'm having a glass of wine, and then stick to it. And if somebody is pressuring you to have another glass of wine, well, my tendency would be to say punch them, but probably don't do that. Just stick to your guns. The likelihood of you having another drink and then eating something that you wouldn't necessarily eat because you are not even thinking about it, your inhibitions are down or whatever, or the likelihood of taking all of the sugar that's in that alcohol and converting it directly to fat is very good. Stick to your guns, have one glass, or don't have any at all. If you aren't sure that you can just stick to that one glass, have a glass of water. I know, it's not as wonderful, it's a little more boring, but it's probably worth it for the goals that you have set for yourself. Additionally, when you go out, you're probably not going to have your containers with you. Keep in mind, your portion sizes are very, very important. Meals at restaurants are completely overblown. There's so much more on that plate than you probably need to eat in one sitting. You could have them box half of it before they even bring it out to you and just eat half the meal. Sounds a little strange? Well, it might be, unless you're considering the fact that the other side of that meal could be your lunch for tomorrow and you get to enjoy it twice. If that's not as practical of a thought for you, while you're sitting there, make sure you think about what your portion sizes should be. Your protein should be the size of your palm and the thickness of your palm. If it's larger than that, cut that part off and don't eat it. Simply eat the serving size. Your carbohydrate serving, so your rice or your potato or your general starchy carb, should fit on the palm of your hand. About a half a cup is what you're looking for. Your vegetable serving should be a handful, about a cup. Keep those in mind while you're eating. If there's more than that on your plate, separate it or heavily pepper it if you're not going to come home if you're not going to bring it home, so that you're not tempted to eat it while you're sitting there. These kinds of things are just really helpful tips and guidelines. If you have others, I hope that you will post them in the comments below. Or if you have any questions, I hope that you'll ask me. And make sure that your eating out experience isn't something that completely derails you or makes you feel guilty about it, because that's not what we're here for. We're here to encourage ourselves and to really keep on the right path nutritionally during this journey. Thanks, girls. I hope you have a great day.